welcome to Tech Talks, the People and Planet podcast. Today, I'm joined by Nathaniel Weiss, the CEO of Vello Health. Hi, Nathaniel. How are you?
Good, thank you, Lee. It's good to meet.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. Interested to learn more about this because your solution is all to do with community care for, I think, specifically for behavioral health in the community.
Yes.
I think it's certainly unique for this show, so it'd be really interesting for the listeners to learn more. Why don't you kick it off then by telling us more about this problem itself, and what's the mission, what's the problem that you're solving?
Sure. So when you think about our community, there are a lot of folks out there who suffer from severe mental health issues, whether that's depression or schizophrenia. You have people who struggle with substance use issues and addictions. Mm-hmm. And it used to be the case that when these folks broke down, what's called decompensated, when they had problems, really significant problems, they were admitted into the emergency room at the local hospital. And they spent time in the inpatient ward at that local hospital. And so that used to be the way that these folks got their care. What's happened is that has shifted into the community. So what we've understood as a community of healthcare providers is that when you have someone, let's say, who has serious depression, well, the best way to have that person improve is to connect them with their family, to connect them with the friends in the community, to connect them with the local clinic, or even the local grocer or the local drugstore. Once you make those connections, that person has a strong fabric in the community. So when you think about it like that, what we see is that when you have someone in crisis, you need a team of caregivers. You need folks to take care of that patient that are a nurse, a social worker, an employment specialist, a psychologist. And what we've seen is that the problem is that team needs help taking care of the patient. That team needs to better collaborate. That team needs to understand, who do I need to see today? How do I take and track my visit? How do I really make sure that I'm giving that person the right care? And that, Lee, is the problem we solve. We solve the challenges that care teams have to take care of those people that have the most serious behavioral health conditions.
Really interesting. Okay, so what's the solution then? There's a product, I think it's a mobile app.
Yeah, it's primarily a mobile app. It's a software platform, and it does three things. The first thing is it helps with team safety. So let's say you are in the field and you want to know who your other team members are and where they are.
Yes.
So that's one area, and it's deeper, clearly, much deeper than I'm making it out at this high level. But the first level is team safety. The other is operations. So it helps those teams manage their visits, track the real-time impact of those visits, know the medication that they're on, know the medication deliveries. So that's the second area, operations. And the third is compliance. So that's making sure people are taking their medications on time, making sure they're seeing the clients enough to really address the quality of care. So those are the three areas, Lee, that make up the software.
Yeah, really interesting. So what are the actual outputs of this then? Do you have kind of, I guess, an indication of how well this is working to those people that are in need of this care?
Yeah, great question. So the way you measure success in terms of bringing a technology into the field is, first, do people feel safer? Do the team members feel safer? Are they able to increase the number of visits over the course of a month with those clients? They're called clients, not patients.
Yeah.
And are they able to reduce the number of no-shows so that they know when the client's going to be home? So there are a number of metrics around reducing no-shows, improving the number of visits, improving appropriate reimbursement. All of those things are the type of impact that a software platform like ours can have.
Got it. Got it. Okay, fine. And where are you guys delivering this to at the moment? Is it specific states or are you US wide?
Sure. No, we focused on New York and Michigan and Pennsylvania. We sell the platform to community mental health agencies. So these are agencies that might have revenue might be $100 million per annum. They might be touching 25,000 clients a year. They have a range of programs and services. They might have 1,500 employees. That's on the larger side. And then there are much smaller community mental health agencies that we serve as well.
Love it. Okay. How do you arrive at Vello Health then? Nathaniel, what's your background? What's your story?
Lee, I ask myself that all the time. No, it's my background is in healthcare. I've worked in hospitals for almost 20 years. And what I learned in the hospital environment is that when you have a patient in crisis, you need a care team. So very, very similar to Vello Health. So think about if you have a patient with stroke, and they come to the emergency room of a hospital, you need a care team. Yeah. If a patient falls, you need a care team. So that same background and experience I've applied in a new realm. I've got a great team of people, but focused on serving the care teams for clients in crisis.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is a kind of new spin on it, really, isn't it? Because, you know, a lot of the guests that come onto this show, they're actually specifically, directly, I suppose, trying to build products for in your case, the client, but the patient themselves, whereas yours is the people that are helping them.
Exactly. No, that's a great point you raise. And it's interesting because a lot of people ask us that. They say, hey, can you give the mobile app to the client, to the patient themselves? And what's interesting is when you're talking about this population, this group of clients, they're so sick that they're functionally impaired. They lose the cell phones. They sell the cell phones. Yeah. You know, the cell phones break. So that's why we enable the care teams themselves.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes complete sense. And I guess the adherence to it is going to be so much more with the care teams rather than the
exactly right. Exactly.
Nathaniel, it's never plain sailing. We're always interested to know how you navigate challenges on this show. Please share a little for the listeners.
No, it's always a set of challenges, but I think with Vello Health, what we've done well, because we've gotten a lot of mistakes out of our systems in the earlier companies, but our overhead is very low, and we've kept very lean. We're just now starting to bring on additional key people for the company, but we've been able to get to a point where we've got very happy customers. We haven't raised venture capital. We're essentially profitable now. And we're just really providing value to our end agencies. That's so I guess in terms of the headwinds and the choppy sailing, the challenge for us is just making sure that our people inside the company are happy and really feel like they have impact in what we're doing.
And how do you do that then? How do you make people feel that they are impactful?
Yeah, it's I think that for us, or I know that for us, it's really keeping them engaged with the customer. And just, it's like I find that when folks are removed from the customer, they start to question their impact and question whether what they're doing is really valuable. And what we do is that from the developers all the way to the internal operations and product management and sales. All the time we're dealing with a customer, and that's rejuvenating and it's invigorating.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I can appreciate that because, if you had a developer that was literally just sat behind a laptop all day,
Yeah.
they kind of question what they were actually doing, I suppose.
Yeah.
Interesting point. And it's we were talking offline before about the importance of everyone pulling in the right direction,
Mm.
and that making a really good, strong culture and a winning team.
Yeah.
So important, isn't it?
So important. So especially today when people, they can have their choice in terms of where to wind up. People want to feel valued, and it's something that especially in healthcare, there's the old saying, the second paycheck, where you get your first paycheck in doing your job, but in healthcare you get the second paycheck, which is the meaning and the value.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sure a lot of our listeners can vouch for that as well.
Yes, I imagine.
What comes next for Vello Health then? What can you share?
Well, for us, it's just it's two things. I think it's expansion. That's the first. But the second is AI. And a lot of companies just throw that out. The AI this or AI that. But when you look at what's going on with healthcare and behavioral health, there are really powerful opportunities to take what's happening in the field, notes of engagements with the clients, for example, and to translate that into robust information for supervisors and for other team members. So AI is an area that's got a lot of impact, a lot of power. We're excited about it. So that's what we're on about.
So how would that manifest then? Would it be a bolt-on to the existing set of products that you guys have?
It would be threaded into the existing products. So, for example, let's say you have you wake up one day, you're a team member on a community care team, and you say, hey, these are the 5 patients, the 5 clients that I'm going to see today. Well, if you bring AI into that, you can start to see, well, hey, maybe I prioritize this client because he was not there last month and he's going to be there this month. Or maybe I prioritize him because his medications, he's been adherent, he's been taking his meds every week. So you start to get a sense of the data around the client and start to leverage that in terms of what you can do with the platform.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, I speak to a lot of founders on this show and in day-to-day life as well, in terms of how AI can help them rather than, because there was all this going around in the press, is AI going to take over? Yeah. And it's not, is it? It's gonna help us if done in the right way.
Yeah, I agree. I think in the healthcare field especially, the priority is the interaction between the clinician and the client. And you can't replace that with technology. What you can do is you can add to it, you can support the clinician. And that's what we believe AI can do. We're not, we are at our heart a company that supports community outreach teams. We're not an AI company. We're not, just a certain technology, but we look at what's happening today, just like mobile is a technology that enables that community outreach help. Similarly speaking, AI is another tool to be able to help that.
Nathaniel, So good to meet you. So interesting to learn about this set of products that you guys are developing, because it's certainly a unique one for this show. Nathaniel Weiss, CEO of Vello Health. Thank you so much.
Great, Lee, a real pleasure, and have a great day then.
You too. Thank you.
Okay.